What is a social media story? The first social network to use stories as we know them today was Snapchat. In fact, this was the core feature of that app and the one that set it apart. Snapchat was a surprise hit, despite being built on some slightly shaky code, and so it wasn't long before the other major players had jumped on board. YouTube introduced Reels, and Facebook brought us Stories, also available on Instagram. Twitter gave us Twitter Moments, and Skype created Skype Highlights. The idea behind a story is unique and quite unlike other forms of content found on social media. A story is a post that is usually delivered through a different feed than the rest of a user's content, and that is only available for a short period of time. After this, the story will disappear and no longer be available. Stories can take a number of different formats. Often they will be videos, but they can also be still images. Also, a common trope for stories on multiple platforms is to allow the use of stickers and text. These are usually placed on top of the main media, giving them pride of position and leading to very impressive engagement and open rates. Why more and more companies are using stories. There are a number of compelling reasons that many brands are starting to rely more and more on the use of stories. One, that is the organic reach of business accounts on a number of social platforms is decreasing, and this is something we'll encounter a few times in this training. Another is that stories provide a great ROI in terms of time and effort they require and the benefits they offer. The great thing about stories is that they are temporary, normally lasting just 24 hours. That means that they don't leave a lasting impression on your page, feed, or account. That gives them a much more personal and off-the-hip feel that customers and fans really dig, but it also means they can afford to be a little less polished and tailored. That means you don't need to shoot a product using studio lighting and a DSLR camera. You can just snap it on your phone and send it off. For businesses, this can be seen as a revelation. Finally, stories are also extremely popular with customers and users right now. While it's better to stay away from such terms in marketing, stories are undeniably trendy. In fact, Facebook introduced stories to its platform for that very reason. At the time, the site was seeing fewer and fewer members of the younger generation sign up, as the demographic began to skew upwards in age. Meanwhile, Snapchat was enjoying a lot of success for a new option, and particularly among the younger contingent of users. Snapchat provided a way for kids to share messages that couldn't be held for posterity, and in a very immediate and fun manner. Facebook had to adapt to risk becoming obsolete, and as marketers, we need to do the same. Facebook Stories for businesses. Facebook announced that it would be getting on board the Stories gravy train in late 2016. This was just a few months after the release of Instagram Stories. These days, Stories are used by a huge number of accounts. In May 2018, over 150 million active users were regularly posting content to the platform. That creates a potentially huge market for businesses looking to make a splash. That said, while the number is large, it's also not so large as to be impossible to stand out. This is a platform that is still growing, and as a result, you can still get noticed. It's something that not every brand has begun taking full advantage of yet. This is particularly relevant given that the organic reach of Facebook pages is continuing to decline. Facebook is seeing more and more users migrate from its platform and presumably is worried that a prevalence of advertisements on news feeds might be the culprit. As such, content from pages has been deprioritized. Through Stories, though, business owners now have a new way to cut through the noise and to get their content seen. And of course, this also comes with all the benefits associated with stories in general that we have already explored. How Facebook Stories work. Facebook Stories appear in a different place in relation to other types of posts. While images and updates appear on the user's feeds, Stories will appear right at the top of the app. That means that Stories are actually the first things that users see when they open Facebook. Not only that, but the icons for the stories, at the time of writing, are large and rectangular. That is to say that they are ideal for consuming on mobile, and they take up a large amount of space. This makes them very difficult for a user to miss. This really is prime real estate for internet marketers. To use Facebook Stories, there are a few steps you need to follow. Firstly, you will need to create a Facebook page. On Instagram, anyone can create a story, but on Facebook, you need to have a page to do so as a business. You'll then need to be an administrator on that page in order to gain access to posting stories. Facebook Stories can also be accessed from Facebook Messenger, where they are displayed as a row at the top of the inbox. Like Instagram, Facebook stories are available for 24 hours after being posted. Creating your first Facebook story. To create a Facebook story, you need to start by making a page. Select the option to create a page and then give your page a name, which ideally should be your business name. You'll also need to offer some other details like your postal address, your phone number, and more. You'll also want to choose a category for your page. This should roughly describe the type of business you run and will make it easier for others to find you. You'll also want to upload a profile photo, which should ideally communicate precisely what your business is about and who it is for. This might be your logo, but the same holds true for logos. The ideal logo is one that clearly expresses the mission statement and industry of the business. Getting started with stories. Instagram only allows you to share stories from your phone or tablet, but with Facebook stories, you can easily share through the website as well. In fact, there are ways to share stories through Facebook Lite as well as Facebook Messenger. The recommended option for users, however, is to share their stories using the app. This is more versatile and provides more options and tools for users than the desktop version. Not only that, but it of course gives you access to your phone's most likely superior camera. In the app, you will start by choosing the hamburger menu, 3 lines, in the top right of the app. Keep in mind that these instructions may change as the app is updated. Now select the page that you just created, and you'll be taken to an area where you can see some details and create posts. In order to share a story, however, you will need to view the page itself as a visitor might see it. Click the icon along the top called Page and then tap on your profile image. You'll see the option appear to Create Story. Once you've done that, the app will open up your gallery and show recent images. You'll also be able to tap the camera icon in order to take a new photo or video. To use video, you will need to long press the shutter button. You'll now have the option to add effects by selecting the wand icon at the bottom of the screen, to add text by hitting the letter icon, or to add ad stickers. These can be a bit of a personality and fun to your posts and are very similar to the same feature found on other platforms. You can also draw freehand on the screen, which is ideal if you have a device that uses a stylus, such as a Galaxy Note or an iPad Pro. Finally, the most useful feature is the link icon. This doesn't let you link directly to a site of your choosing, unfortunately, but what it does do is to give you the opportunity to add a call to action button. This can include options like Book Now and Learn More. This has potential to be extremely monetizable, as it allows you to sell things directly through your stories, which will have a high open rate. Tip: cross-post to Instagram and Facebook. A really useful tip when it comes to posting Facebook stories is that you can easily cross-post from Instagram. Instagram has a larger engagement when it comes to stories, so you might choose to prioritize that platform. But by selecting to post to both sites, you'll be able to get even more benefit while putting in no extra work. Simply head to the settings menu called Story Controls, and then scroll down to the option to Share Your Stories to Facebook. Toggle that option to the on position, and you'll automatically post to both. How to put this all into action. So now you know all the basics. You know how to set up your social media accounts for stories. You know how to post them, and you understand the benefits of the medium and why you should be using it. Now what's left is to understand how to put all this into action so that it works together with synergy. How do you integrate your stories into your campaign? An example. Let's take an example of a fitness brand. This fitness brand is the personal brand belonging to a sole trader that runs a blog and that sells personal training online. That seller is now going to use their social media platforms and their stories in order to reach the largest audience possible and engage with them on a deeper level. Start by creating your logo and your brand. Identify your buyer persona, the exact person you're selling to, and your mission statement. Then create a logo and site design that expresses this. Create a blog and post here every 2 days with relatively short 500-word blog posts. These aren't particularly SEO optimized, but aimed rather to work well on social with strong, eye-catching titles. Next, you're going to set up your social accounts. Try to get your company onto as many different platforms as possible and to use your company name and logo on every single one. The objective is to be everywhere and to be as consistent as possible with the image you are putting forward. You will then post to those social accounts regularly, making sure to provide real value as you do. It's these actions that will help you to start to build a following that views you as more than a simple product manufacturer or service provider, but as a brand with a set of ideals and a real mission statement. By doing this groundwork, that's when you can make a real impact with your social media stories. That's when you'll have an army of followers who actually care what you do with your day, who want the inside scoop, and who are excited by your new releases and your Q&As. Post to stories once or twice a day, maybe more if you can, and you'll remain in their notification trays and on their minds. Respond to questions and take the time to interact with your audience. If you can do all that, then thanks to stories and strong branding, you will have an audience that is more highly engaged and involved than 90% of audiences out there. Follow this up with the occasional story that promotes a product or that gauges interest, and you can convert some of those warm leads to buyers. And that is how you employ stories to their fullest. Good luck. It's time to write your own success story.